Welcome to a special Thanksgiving episode of Out of the Blank podcast with my best friend that I'm thankful for, Mr. Chuck Norris.
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble. What are you thankful for? See, because we've been spending the whole pandemic. Everybody's just been complaining about stuff, and we've been trying to find out what's the benefit. What are we thankful for today on this or I almost said Christmas, Thanksgiving? That's the only holiday I really care about, anyway.
Well, we know my thoughts on Christmas, but I'm thankful for a lot of things. Yes, there's been a lot of negativity that's been happening this year. Things happening personally, things happening with family, things happening at work. But you know what? Let's put all that aside and be thankful, like you said. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I've got to join such an amazing community this year. Started my podcast, got to meet a bunch of different people from all over the place, different backgrounds and stuff like that. And it's really been inspiring and eye-opening to see everybody from these different walks of life come together and have one thing in common, and that's the way they want to connect and they want to entertain. So that's really ultimately what I'm probably most thankful for this year.
Any thankful names in particular?
Hmm.
David.
Precious.
David.
Precious comes to mind.
Oh, Precious. I don't even know what I said in that episode, but that would be my stripper name if I was going to pick one.
I'm very thankful to you. You were the door. You were the door to this world. I mean, I was already in the podcast world when you reached out to me, but you were the door that opened me up into the depths of further falling into that little rabbit hole. I have no idea where I'm going with this analogy, but thank you. Thank you.
No, but I appreciate it, man. But it was an experience, and I'm happy that we had our first conversation, and the next led into all these amazing things that we've been discovering through life. But you know what I'm thankful for is I am thankful for trying to find the optimism in situations, and I think I found the optimism, I guess I would say, from an experience I had a couple days ago, which was the aspect of I'm happy that I'm not as close to my family. On the aspect of some families are really fucking close, and I think that's really, really weird. I don't know if it's just like the way we've been in lockdown for so long and we've came out, but like I'm not talking about immediate family. More like the aspect of I was at my work going to the bathroom, and there was a father on his cell phone ordering Chinese food in a bathroom with a naked old man toweling off right beside him while his 15-year-old son was just staring at him going, make sure you get spring rolls. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And it's not the first time this has happened. And it's a situation where I'm like, I'm thankful for that I'm not that close in that aspect of things. I'm thankful for that. I don't know. I get placed in weird situations I can always talk about. It's, I'd like to look at the optimism of a situation.
Okay, I can definitely appreciate that a lot. Um, I don't know if I would.
He
I don't
was
know if
ordering
would
lo
have.
mein, bro. Lo
I
mein.
I think I would have more priorities while I'm in a gym locker room than ordering Chinese food. Like getting the fuck out of there and then go ordering my food. I
And
don't know.
his kid wasn't like the small little one, like when you're little you have to go to the bathroom with a parent or something
Yeah.
so that you don't get lost in the bathroom that doesn't have another exit. It's just one. Um, the kid was 16 years old. So
And
that's what really hit me was like I'm sitting there while this guy's ordering lo mein. Like I'm trying to go to the bathroom and then I'm a shy pisser. So then it's like I'm trying to go. Then I feel like everybody's like, why isn't he going? And then it turns into this whole situation where I'm like, just order me a freaking egg roll and get the day on. Let's go.
so I mean, like, so was the 16-year-old there working out too, or was he just there?
Worked out with his dad, and they both just sat in the locker room ordering Chinese food while an old man got out of the shower and just had a
Uh,
wonderful day.
that's weird. Okay.
All right, making sure it's
Yeah.
just not just me. It's sometimes like I know some people that are really close, like that'll kiss their dad on the mouth or something, even though they're like 20, which I find is fucking weird. But then also, like, I remember I went snowboarding one time, and this one girl kept calling her dad daddy. Like,
hmm
daddy, I want to go on. But she was like my age now, and I was probably like 16 at the time. But she said, daddy, I want to do that. Daddy, I want to go on that mountain. Daddy, I want to, and it just sounded so much like a prostitute where I was like, I can't like it's not it's just that's just weird to me. Maybe it's just how I'm not that close with my family that it seems weird to me, but I'm just thankful for I don't come off like sounding like I'm getting ready to get banged in a room called 310.
Your closest with your family is in borderline incestuous.
There's a line that needs to be drawn, my friend.
You have drawn it.
Is there anything? Because probably right around now, either there's someone that's not really having a Thanksgiving, maybe working,
Hmm.
that's probably listening. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Um,
Yes.
but at the
Sorry,
same,
you have to work on Thanksgiving, the greatest of all the holidays. Sorry, Christmas. The
uh,
greatest of all the holidays.
why would you consider Thanksgiving to be great? Honestly, it's so close to not being good. Like the fact that what a turkey is our food choice. Imagine if that was something else. Like you know how we send out fines for killing a bald eagle. Imagine if
Mm,
that was the turkey and we had to pick a different food. I rather. I mean, every Thanksgiving for me is crab cakes. Uh,
yeah.
so if you're listening and it's Thanksgiving, go enjoy Thanksgiving, or if you're working, eat some Thanksgiving food. If it's the day after, much like you're probably dealing with this episode, it's like I got leftover. You probably have a lot in the fridge, so
Mhm.
you're probably stocked up for like the next month until Christmas hits.
See, that's the problem with me. The reason I really like Thanksgiving is I do love the food that's involved with this, but it's not just about the food. But I'll talk about the food. I always cook like it's for a damn army because typically, if we weren't having a pandemic going on right now or something like that, I would be inviting people who don't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving over and stuff like that because I really feel like it's important that people have that type of fellowship, come togetherness and stuff like that, sharing good food and good company. But this year, obviously, with the pandemic going on, I can't invite anybody over, but it's hard for me to get into the mindset that I need to make less food. So I still bought, like, I'm cooking for a bunch of people. So we're going to be eating Thanksgiving probably through Christmas. Uh, but I love the food. But what I really like about Thanksgiving is some of the things that we can remember about during this time. And this year is a very important year to really take that into perspective. It's not just about being thankful for things. It's not about putting things into a positive perspective. It's also about coming together for something that isn't. I'm not against religion, but not something that's religious like a Christmas for a lot of people. It's really, I guess, in my mind, it's a reason to come together, but it's not a reason to come together because you can make a turkey dinner any damn day of the year. But it's just this one special moment where you can come together. There's no ulterior motives here. You literally are just making food and having a good time with hopefully the people you love.
I'm thankful that it reminds me of marijuana every time Thanksgiving happens.
You got to smoke some in order to eat some.
No, it's because every family gathering I've ever been to, the smell of weed was in the air, and my brain immediately links that to nostalgia. So whenever I smell weed, I think Thanksgiving. So it's like, oh God.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. People get high and then want to eat and stuff. My family, like, the thing with it is like, I'll be working on Thanksgiving when this comes out. So, I mean, I'll be probably getting home, hopefully someone burnt biscuits in the oven. That's always my tradition. Is every time we would have like a Thanksgiving thing, be crab cakes and shrimp. That's always our tradition. Well, at least for me, and then everybody else would have like turkey or something. But then the biscuits were left in the oven, and then I would just come home to burnt biscuits. And I'm like, I like that smell. I don't know what it is. I mean, I have problems cooking Instamash, so I'm not. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
kind of a staple or a necessity in some houses on Thanksgiving is mashed potatoes.
Oh, mashed potatoes are definitely a staple in our house, at least for Thanksgiving. But yeah, so if I messed up the mashed potatoes or the mashed potatoes were messed up in any way, I'd probably be very upset. Yeah, I'd be more upset of the mashed potatoes being messed up than like the turkey because I'll make the turkey, but I'm not really a big fan of turkey, so I'll only eat maybe a little bit of it and then I don't know, give the rest away.
How do they make it the dark meat and the light meat? Is that just the turkey, or is that a way you cook it in the oven?
No, that's just the way the meat works. So, your dark meat is like your legs, your thighs, and stuff like that. Um, and then your white meat is the breast, and basically the rest of the bulk of the turkey. So
So is it is
I'm
it
a dark meat liker. I don't dark meat liker. I like the dark meat of turkey. So I typically only eat the legs on Thanksgiving, and I leave the rest for everybody else.
is that could we have a barbarian Thanksgiving where like a Viking Thanksgiving where we just like maybe killed like a boar, or like let's kill an elephant? Is there any zoos nearby?
There's the closest zoo to me is a little. little far away, but I don't know about how I would feel about killing an elephant, but maybe a boar. I've never tried boar. I don't know.
If it's aggressive and it's coming at you, I think I could do it.
Oh, I would. I don't have a problem killing it. I'm more concerned about is it edible, but I guess it would be
Yeah,
to a degree.
they eat boar in some countries. Isn't that what in
Yeah.
Hawaii they put it underground and then cook it? I don't know how people do that. Like for Thanksgiving, I just want to be the type of person that shows up to the party when the food's already cooked. Like I don't know the process of making it. Like it just my attention span's too short. I'm just like, I can't do this.
Making the food is half the fun.
And
Eating it's fun too, but making it is fun.
And 2 years ago on this day was the first time I tried pie.
What pie?
Pumpkin.
Ooh, did you like it?
I did. I was like, well, I've lived 20 years and just discovered pies this good. It's the more of the crust. I like the crust.
The crust makes the pie. The filling could be the absolute greatest, but if the crust is not there, the pie is ruined. So I absolutely agree with you on that one. And pumpkin pie is my favorite. I always have to make 2 pies every year because I'm going to end up devouring one myself. You don't keep up this physique without eating a whole pie.
That's the issue is I have to make sure there's like no leftovers. Like when we get done cooking, I'm like, throw the rest of it out. And they're like, why? Because you'll wake up in the middle of the night and you're going to go downstairs and you're going to open up that refrigerator and guess what's going to be appetizing to your eyes? All this amazing food. Then you eat it. And next thing you know, you're going back to sleep. And then you feel like shit the next day where you're getting the meat sweats.
And then, it's kind of like the whole hair of the dog thing. When you drink alcohol, how do you handle a hangover the next day? You start drinking alcohol again. So, the next day you're going to wake up like, oh, I feel awful after eating all that food. You're going to open up that fridge like, yes, Thanksgiving 2.0. And you're going to create something awesome. Turkey sandwiches. I do turkey soup sometimes. We did a turkey pot pie last year. So it's fun to take what you have already created and then create new things with it. And then feel awful still.
It's all right. So here's a deep question for you.
Okay.
Now you're going back to school to get your captain's license.
Yes, hopefully.
That's the one thing we didn't talk about in your original episode is the fact that your life could be the best movie in the world. You're the fucking ferryman. You are literally I can't believe I didn't I had so many questions, but it just went on to the movie concept of things. We started going off about movies and Tom Holland and shit where I'm like, hold on a minute. He's the ferryman. He is, if you somebody brought this conclusion to my head. If you take anything in the world and you just change your perspective on it, not in we'll think it's a glass half full or a glass half empty. Don't do that, but make it really, really like a freaking movie script. You could easily do that with the amount of movies you've seen. Or if you look at fishing, for instance, I had a person say it's like another world. You are literally casting out a line into another dimension where a bunch of sea creatures fucking live. Think of that. You're going to want to fish more. It's the whole concept of you're a fucking ferryman giving people a journey from one land to another, and the passage of void is a ticket. And if they don't have that ticket, you could fucking Sparta kick them off the ferry.
I don't know about Spartan kick, but yes, it does come with a kind of a sense of power there. They aren't going to follow the protocols or have the correct paperwork in order to board our ferry. Then yeah, we're going to say, get lost, go correct yourself and then come back. But not to really make myself look weird in any light or something like that, but I actually do think about not so much in terms of it being a movie. I more see what I do in terms of a TV show. Every day is a new episode because every day is going to be a new adventure. And me and my crewmates, we're obviously the main cast getting into these hijinks and stuff like that. And I actually do think about that when we're going back and forth, because there's really not a whole lot to do otherwise.
You can deny Bob and his Ford Fiesta from getting a ferry ticket and going onto the ferry.
And especially with this whole COVID thing going on right now, so we had to change our rules a lot. You have to wear masks, all that fun stuff, and try to social distance as much as you can. But we still want to cram 100 people on this boat.
How big is the boat?
Boat's actually not that big if you really want to think about it, because we don't carry cars or anything like that. We only carry passengers because there are no cars allowed on the island where we're headed. It's only golf carts and stuff like that. The only people who have cars are the emergency workers, police, fire, EMT. But
The way you explain it, dude, this is a perfect movie. Like I started thinking that you are traveling to this island where there's no technology. There's this civilization that's still using sticks and torches.
well, they're caught up with the times now, but I mean, it was just a few decades ago that this island really did kind of feel behind the times. I mean, they have to get their power from the mainland. It's this huge cable that runs underneath the water and stuff like that from in this little short span between the island and this piece of the mainland over here. But I mean, they don't have anything as simple as cell service out there. They don't even have a cell tower. So as soon as you get out to the island, you kind of lose service. So you're relying on Wi-Fi. Well, they didn't get reliable internet out there till about 10 or so years ago. So this island's catching up on times, but yeah, they are kind of like their own lost little world out there.
Yo.
And they are just slowly start they just excavated a site to install a cell phone tower, but the problem is you're on an island that doesn't have a very firm foundation to begin with. So they wouldn't be able to put a tower out there without it falling over. So the engineers are just struggling with this one right now. So we're trying to get them up to 2020, but
You just gave me the best concept for a movie idea, dude.
lay it on me.
Okay, so I used to be deathly afraid of this when I was a kid, but there's those bridges that go underwater where it's like you're under there forever, and you're like, if one car just hit another car, there'd be like a giant pileup. Imagine, so there's a place in Virginia where it's like, I mean, longer than the Bay Bridge times like 6. It takes like a good 30 minutes to get through all these underwater bridges, but it's just a long span of like 20 miles of just underwater bridges. So imagine if they cut off the part from like there was an explosion at the entrance and then the exit. So it's like the mine where the people get trapped. You have to try and get these people out. And then you just do a video of like a movie of trying to get these people to survive in this underwater tunnel. There's no source of food except if you brought like goldfish crackers or something for your kids. So you're stealing your kids' food and their nutrition. And it's just like trying to survive like the fucking mist.
All right. Well, I hate to burst your bubble on this one, but there is actually a movie that is on that concept. It's called Daylight. It has Sylvester Stallone in it. They are stuck in a tunnel, trapped in it. I can't remember if there was an earthquake or something that caused both ends of the tunnel to collapse. But yeah, they're all these car drivers and passengers are stuck in this tunnel, and they are literally trying to get out before like water comes rushing in. Okay, go pee pee, buddy. Before water comes rushing in and killing them and all stuff like
Don't
that.
tell me what to do.
I can't. I can't remember what year it came out. It was in the 90s, but yeah, it's called Daylight.
Well, I'm thankful for I have a new movie to watch now.
It's actually a pretty entertaining movie. I haven't seen it in years, but yeah, that's your movie.
I hope someone was eating turkey when you said "go pee pee, buddy." I really hope they're gonna
For
mouthful.
context, guys, my youngest is at home today, and sometimes he doesn't understand when the door is closed. Daddy's recording, so
I still don't understand it. I'm 22, so sometimes you just like to walk in and then they go, "Hold on, close the door." That's why there was a sock on the door. I'm like, I like to watch. I like to watch. But all right, so here's the debate here, and I've been marinating on this question. Since you're a movie fanatic, you own your own podcast called Chuck Goes to the Movies. Shameless plug for yourself there, sir. Waiting for you to get merch so I can buy one. I'm also
I'm working on
thankful
it.
for this amazing sweater. If people can see, it's my buddies from This Week in Metropolis sent it to me. They said Tom Holland has to rock their stuff. I said, okay. But the question is, if you had to choose between 5 people to be stuck in a house with, like a lockdown scenario again,
Okay.
you can choose anybody. Doesn't have to be your family. Who would
Okay.
you choose?
So this is not a fictional thing, like literally people I know, or can it be a fictional thing? Can I have fictional
Yeah,
people?
pick anybody. You can pick fucking Buzz Aldrin. I want to talk to that guy. He's been annihilating a bunch of mind-blowing facts recently.
Wow, that's a really tough question.
Because you got to
There's so
think
many-
about the necessities of the house too. It's like, let's change the house. So let's change it to being on that island that you ferried them to. You have to get stuck. They're going to say, Chuck, today at work, we're going to have a fun experiment for you. We pick these 5 people you can choose, and then you're going to be stuck on this island where you're going to be cut off from all civilization for an impending. They tell you 100 years, but it's probably going to be more like a month.
Well, I need to think about my resources. I need to think about survivability and stuff like that. I mean, I love to cook, but let's be honest, I don't want to do it every day. So I definitely would like somebody who knows how to cook. I would want Gordon Ramsay for two reasons. One, because he can cook. Two, because I want to pick his brain apart because I really don't want to believe he's as mean as he comes across.
Apparently,
But he
I've
seems like a
seen
fun person to
yeah,
talk to.
I've seen videos of him being really nice, but like what you just tossed out to me was like tossing out the dude from Bar Rescue, like that guy. Like he might seem like he has good intentions of helping the bar, but he's just an asshole. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to like, oh, Gordon, you cooked me a quiche. I really appreciate that. He goes, well, yeah, shit, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat it and cry.
Well, you know what? I would encourage him to be like that. And I imagine, it's funny you bring up the bar rescue thing because I really feel like they do a lot of that just obviously for the drama and ratings and stuff like that. They're probably all really nice people. But who's going to sit there and watch a cooking show where Gordon Ramsay's like, oh, you burnt this? That's okay, my friend. This is how we're going to do it. No, they want to hear the insults because it's funny. It's like Simon Cowell back when American Idol was first this big thing. You wanted him to hurl out the insults, even though apparently he's a really nice man.
He is.
Uh, so let's see.
Rest in
Gordon
peace.
Ramsay, he's not dead.
He was in a motorcycle accident and basically dead, to me at least.
Okay. Um,
It's like Paul Giamatti. Once you hit Showtime, it's just gone forever.
I'd say he's not dead either. Who else would I
So
want?
we got a chef. We got Gordon
we got
Ramsay.
we got a chef.
You're thinking logically. I like it.
I need somebody who's going to be handy. I mean, shelter, things like that.
Builder.
Yeah, I need a builder, somebody not necessarily with an engineering degree, but somebody who has the brains to be able to put something together. Um, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of HGTV and stuff lately. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill two of my selections with one selection here. I want the Property Brothers.
Who?
You know the Property Brothers?
I know American Pickers.
No, Property Brothers. I can't forget. I can't remember their first names. I think Drew was one of them, and I can't remember the second one. They're twins, and they're funny. One's in real estate, and one actually does all the renovations on these houses. But actually, I want the guy who just does the renovation. So we'll say it's Drew.
You could have tossed out fucking Ty Pennington from Home Improvement, but you tossed out two
Nah.
people I have no clue. So you just knocked
Nah.
out two of your choice. So that's three people there. All right, who's the fourth?
Let's see. I'm obviously the entertainment, so we don't need that covered.
Where's the therapist? You need someone that's got to think logically to be able to calm people down. You're stuck on an island. That's the first thing is that you're going to start sizing people up, being like, who could I take if I decide to get aggressive?
So I need a doctor.
You should have a medical person on board for sure.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Doctor.
You might know CPR, but if Gordon Ramsay throws a butcher knife and somebody gets their hand chopped off, you don't know.
I need a well-rounded medical individual. I don't know. I don't really know any doctors that would be recognizable to anybody. The only name that keeps coming to mind is because we hear his name every day is like Dr. Fauci, but I don't know if I would trust him to help with just general things.
He would lie about some stuff and then tell you later. And he'd be like, oh, you lied for good reason, but you're still an asshole.
Well, it's a name you might recognize. He, Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah, I know Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah, I actually met him once before, and he's a cool guy. So I think I'd have him as my medical expert. And then what? I got one more, right?
Yes.
One
you can choose
more.
one for fun if you want. You don't have to think logically.
Yeah. You need the village idiot.
That's why I'm always involved.
I'm definitely gonna go famous actor on this one. I think I would like to have Steve Carell.
Really? The 40-year-old virgin. You want him on your island?
Yes, because but I don't want 40-year-old virgin Steve Carell. I want more The Office Steve Carell. The guy with the good intentions and stuff like that always gets into these shenanigans and everything like that, but still somehow manages to bring it all back around and everything turns out to be okay. Yeah, I would go ahead and choose him as
You
number
wouldn't want a
5.
Dwight on your island?
No.
Okay.
No Dwights, please.
What about 5 people you wouldn't want to be on an island with? Or do you want to hear my 5 people first?
No. You list your 5 people first.
Okay. 1, we're gonna have to think of a food person. That's a good idea. I like that generalization. I was just gonna toss out a bunch of people I wouldn't mind talking to for a long time, like for a space shuttle. I wouldn't have to airlock anybody. I think food person, I would probably choose. Who's that woman that cooks with Snoop Dogg on that show?
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
Hey, and
is.
she'll be good for like household things too, and making
And
clothes and whatnot.
killing motherfuckers, dude.
Yeah.
I look at her, I'm like, yo, she is the type where if I'm like, I don't want egg rolls today, I want a croissant. She'll be like, we're fucking having egg rolls, or you're gonna be on the menu. I'm like, never had human flesh before. Might taste good.
She'll turn you into a pie.
With that smiling face too. It's just one of those, like, at least she's honest about her shit. Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit later. 2, a builder. I don't know. I don't like Ty Pennington. I don't. If you wear jeans that are made with holes in them, what are you doing with your life? It's like socks and sandals. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I hate seeing socks and sandals. I just want to push those people down on the ground.
Do you want comfort, or are you just trying to, like, my feet are cold, but also I want to be stylish and they're hot? And I'm like, well, oh my God, pick a freaking side here, man. I would have to probably choose. Who wouldn't I mind being on an island with? A builder I have to choose would be logical. That's a really tough one because I don't know a whole lot of builders. Maybe Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, an architect. So he can design it anyway.
Oh, shit. That's not the same thing?
Yeah.
Wait, so designing it isn't the same thing as building it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an architect, so he designed the buildings, and then somebody will go and build it.
But I don't need that fucking guy. Toss him out. No. Like,
but now you made me think maybe I want Barney on the island.
Here's the plan. Now we just need someone to do the plan. It's like, well, I want the A team where I can have someone actually functionally do the thing. Like, I don't want. No.
You basically just described Ted Mosby, though, from the show. That was always him. He was always the guy throwing out the plan, but could he execute a plan? Hell no, he couldn't execute a plan.
And we need Barney. I would take Barney. Neil Patrick Harris. I would take Neil Patrick Harris because he played a doctor in a show, and I'm pretty sure he probably picked up some medical stuff.
And, he's good at magic, too, so he'll keep you entertained.
Exactly.
And everything will be legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
You should have been like, everything's going to be legend. Hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second part of this word is dairy. Then I would pick probably, you have to have someone that you can get your aggression out on, whether it's a therapist or just someone that you can just like trash. Yeah. I would definitely pick, what's his name? Rick Moranis.
Oh, why Rick Moranis?
You know why I picked on him.
Oh, poor
he's
guy.
Just so gullible and lovely. I love Rick Moranis. I definitely would pick like Eddie Murphy or Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle would have on my island for sure because I feel like he has good survival techniques too. Joe Rogan. I'm picking Joe Rogan because we can have conversations about aliens and DMT for a very long time.
There you go. He would definitely keep everybody entertained. But I would definitely pick Dave Chappelle over Eddie Murphy as well. I mean, that's a hard choice, but I think Dave Chappelle would definitely win it out.
I can't bank it on Eddie Murphy to survive long. I'm not saying it's just he's older. Dave Chappelle's younger. I don't know. Sorry if you're listening, Eddie Murphy. I loved you and Daddy Daycare. And what was that movie? What is it? What is it? Tell me what it is.
I just don't know. There's
Nutty
so many
Professor.
movies.
Nutty Professor.
Okay. I was like, there's so many movies. You like Norbit too.
I fucking love Norbit. All right. What's 5 people you wouldn't want to have on your island?
God, there's too many to list.
Bear Grylls.
Nah, he's annoying, but he's not that annoying.
Mr. Rogers. I wouldn't want him on my island. Are you kidding me?
No, but I know you want Papa John's.
If I want, honestly, it might be good to start a cult. I would look to a cult leader to survive, to be honest with you.
Well, there you go. Then Papa John's. Who
But
I don't
he
want.
looks like an alcoholic. That might hurt me.
Uh Man, just narrowing it down to 5 people is even harder than picking 5 people that you would want on that. And can I like choose categories? I don't want any politicians.
I hate.
Um,
I tell you right now, my 5 people: Tom Holland, Jerry Seinfeld, Sandra Bullock, and trying to think of another person I really don't want to ever talk to ever. I don't know. I think those are my big three. I don't have a whole lot. Maybe if like yeah, definitely someone who wears socks and sandals, whoever that person may be. Like you
Right.
need someone just to keep you just eventually getting so upset that you have to build things to get away from them.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. I mean, it's not so much people. I mean, I could think of people I absolutely hate, but I mean, it's not so much people. It's more like categories of people. Again, politicians. I agree. People who wear socks with sandals.
What the hell? I picked a bunch of people that on our island. I need to get laid. Exchange one of them for Megan Fox or someone like Kate Upton.
Oh, you bring up a very good point. Neither of us. Well, you chose Martha Stewart. Did I even choose a girl?
She
No, I didn't.
scares me way too much to be able to hit on that mark of being aroused. I'm just saying that you need to pick someone on the island so it's just not a bunch of 5 people just masturbating countlessly in different corners of the island. There's going to be people coming by taking pictures and shit.
All right, well then drop Steve Carell, and then I'm going to replace him with Scarlett Johansson.
Steve Carell doesn't turn you on?
No, not at all.
No.
um,
Not even in Space Force?
Oh God, that show is so awful.
I loved it. Why does everything I love people hate?
I could not get into it. I can't believe it got renewed for season 2.
Yeah, hooray! It's the best. I'm thankful that Space Force is getting renewed for a second season.
I honestly, I really just couldn't think of 5 particular names to name off of people I wouldn't want on the island. Harvey Weinstein, I wouldn't want him there.
Damn, all right. What about Epstein? Epstein's Island. Oh, it gets deeper. Robbie had a plan all along to bring up Epstein's Island.
But did he kill himself? Well, I wouldn't want any of the Clintons on there because they'd probably kill me for the power.
You wouldn't want Hillary Clinton on there. She could fulfill both needs. She could fill your love for lust, and then she could also fulfill the fact that you ever just want to be lied to sometimes, like told it's going to be okay, and it's not.
No, I'm good. I mean, if I had to choose a Clinton to not be there, it'd be Hillary, and if I had to choose a Clinton to be there, it'd be Bill. I'm sure he's got some stories to tell about Monica and others.
Yeah, he could be the storyteller by the fire.
There you go.
Let me tell you about Monica. She done sucked my dick. It's like, hold on a second, sir. This is a Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, right. Let's try to keep it PG-13ish.
Pass the potatoes and gravy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly couldn't think of 5.
That was a tough choice.
It really is.
Imagine just picking a bunch of actors and throwing them into one movie, and you get a beautiful movie like movie 43. I love that one, dude. I don't care. It might have been a good movie. Ridiculous, but it's a classic slap humor comedy I enjoy.
I mean, it's just also one of those movies, kind of like a little meta commentary. They're all laughing at themselves, basically. They're laughing at the stupidity of Hollywood.
What's a food that you wouldn't want on your table at Thanksgiving?
Yams.
Yams, really?
I don't like yams. Not at all.
Even when it gets mixed with that marshmallow stuff?
Nope.
No. What's one food you really enjoy?
The corn pudding that I make.
You make a corn pudding?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's something I want is cornbread. Yeah, I like Thanksgiving. Those are the Hawaiian rolls. Like people that do that. That's the next level Thanksgiving. Like my Thanksgiving is usually just crab cakes and shrimp, which I'm used to, but I do like having like a little bit of like something I haven't had in a long time. Like honestly, I think I have more fun going to other people's Thanksgivings. I'm always that guy that like walks in the door like, hey, they're like, who invited this dude? I'm like, hey, pass that over here. I'll take some of that.
Get yourself a little buffet, make a plate, and then dip out.
I would never take it home though. I can't do the take home things because I spilled one time. Someone gave me Thanksgiving leftovers and I spilled it. I was smelling freaking Thanksgiving food in my car for weeks, man. Like to the point where it was like, I need to get a new car. I just got this one and now I'm gonna have to trade her back in. What's the problem? It smells like stuffing. That's the problem.
There are worse smells, but yes, I can see how that can get old after a while.
We also should be thankful for that we're all together as well. And maybe not
Whether
going
we're
to Taco Bell for Thanksgiving.
very true.
Because in some cases that's the case.
Although, if I wasn't cooking, I mean, I wouldn't mind some Taco Bell on Thanksgiving.
Isn't Thanksgiving kind of overrated now?
No.
No, really? I look at it like I'm like, I get it, but like, when is this gonna be canceled? Like, how you do, Pilgrim? Like, it doesn't make any sense that we're still like, the only thing they can't cancel is Christmas because that's like a big thing. Hitler tried it, nobody's getting past it.
From a historical standpoint, yes, the holiday of Thanksgiving does come with a lot of negative connotation and stuff like that. Um, I try not to dwell too much. I'm not ignoring it, so don't sit there and label
I
me as
don't think
somebody who just
anybody
ignores
is going
history
to
or
think
anything
you
like
are.
that. But I also try not to really think about it. Again, we could come together anytime and eat food and have family and have congregation and fellowship with people that we love and like and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's just something about it's one of those things you look forward to every Thanksgiving. As soon as Thanksgiving rolls around, or as soon as November rolls around, I just Halloween's over. Don't even talk to me about Christmas yet. Thanksgiving. That is all I'm concerned about.
It's funny that I asked my gym, I was like, are we closed on Thanksgiving? She goes, no, we only close on Christmas. I was like, well, then where am I supposed to go? She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm Jewish. What about all the people out there that celebrate Hanukkah? You're going to open up on that day? How about you close for 7 days?
I mean, it is true. I mean, we as celebrating holidays and companies who close down for certain holidays and stuff like that, they tend to ignore other religions and things like that. We usually just stick to the whole Judeo-Christian holidays like Christmas and stuff like that, and those are what they're going to close down for. And it's a shame. But then, as a business, can you conceivably close for all of Hanukkah?
Yeah, a lot of people have like, how we have different thoughts on holidays, how you hate Christmas and then, or you don't enjoy Christmas as much as another holiday. Like for
Hmm.
Thanksgiving, just change your perception on the fact of like, it's a feast. Like I would love to have a Viking Thanksgiving where I'm like, yo, open up the doors. We're going to eat until our bellies are full and we praise in Valhalla. Like just have this whole exuberant type scenario because a lot of times it's the same stuff, which seems like even in a holiday, you wouldn't want to have this going on. Um, it's watching the football game. For a lot of people, that's a tradition. It's watching
Yep.
the football game for Thanksgiving or something, or
The
what
Macy's Day Parade.
yeah, something. But you're just paying more attention to the TV than the things around you. And that is a big thing. When you want to be thankful for something, be thankful for there's a lot of moments that you're going to miss later down the line that you might not really understand in the moment. You might want to take grasp of those types of things.
No, and I really love this idea that you're going on here, where you don't just celebrate a traditional Thanksgiving turkey dinner, gathering around, all that fun stuff, dressing up nicely or whatever. We never dress up nicely, but I like this whole idea of a themed feast. I mean, every year you could do something different. I like this Viking thing. If you want to really go movie buff or something like that, you could have a movie themed. I would do a Harry Potter themed gathering or something like that, and make traditional English food and all that fun stuff. Because I actually do like that. And here I'm going to nerd out a little bit. I actually have a Harry Potter cookbook on how to make traditional foods found throughout the stories and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I think that would actually be a fun idea. Kind of take away what Thanksgiving was and give your own little spin on it, but still have that whole gathering, food, fellowship type idea. And turn off the TVs. Yeah, I mean, being a Cowboys fan, they suck this year. But they play every year on Thanksgiving, so I always have one eye on that TV watching the Cowboys play. Or we have the parade on in the morning time while I'm cooking and stuff like that. It We should just turn off the TVs and stuff like that and enjoy the company of what we have in front of us instead of what's away from us. Or if you're going to have the TV on, especially in this year of 2020, have it set up to where your Zoom meetings show up on there, so you can see your family from around the country and stuff like that. And that's what you should be watching, not something else.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the enthusiasm is kind of gone, and that's where our distractions and our kind of minds go off onto something else. I think if you like do we talked about this in the movie Signs, for instance, at that
Hmm.
meal, the part where the family sits down and asks whatever you want, we're gonna have for this one giant meal. We're gonna come together and we're gonna eat as a family. Like doing that, like everybody brings an item. Let's change up the traditional things. Who says that it needs to be green beans and turkey or mashed potatoes and stuff? Change it up. If you want to have a Taco Bell freaking Thanksgiving, there's a lot of people out there probably that are scraping by, living by their own. They moved out of their parents' house or something, and that is their Thanksgiving. But change it up, because the concept in these traditions is, this is my issue with a lot of stuff that goes on. And I got a lot of flack for that stupid freaking tweet I put up on Twitter about the everybody's
I saw the chain.
about the whole thing. Like, one person starts thinking it's political. I'm like, we're not philosophers. This isn't 250 AD Rome. I thought that was a pretty freaking nice thing I thought of. I was like, damn, I'm
Mhm.
quick on the Jack jumped over the candlestick type thing. But the concept of you are being confined to an ideology, an idea of what something should be. Why don't you make it into something that you want it to be, or that it's your idea, and not in a negative way, in a positive way. If you have a Thanksgiving and all these scenarios that are telling you this is how a traditional Thanksgiving is, you can have that if that's what you want to have, but change it up if you don't. Order a taco 12 pack. Get down with a taco 12 pack, get down with the family, but being connected to the people around you and really appreciating what you are thankful for, that you do have air in your lungs, that you are doing something. And I know I talk a lot of shit about motivational stuff, and I hate motivational things. I'm just saying it makes the day a little bit easier when you can flip the script on the optimistic switch and go
Mhm.
somewhere and do something. No, even if you want to be thankful for how you're not being consumed by a lot of things, how like your life seems like at this moment it's pretty clear, and pay attention to the visage that's in front of you. I mean, the whole
Mhm.
fact of I'll be sitting or working, and then when I get home, I'll be sitting and probably staring at a television or staring at a wall after while I eat my food. So it's a whole objective thing of you can turn Thanksgiving into whatever you want it is. For me, it's just another day. It's not really a holiday. But for someone out there, if you really think of it as the idea of Thanksgiving, then make it your own. Don't make it what they tell you to make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I bring you to tears on that one?
Almost,
Dang,
almost. I mean, I'm at a loss of words here.
I was
It
rambling.
it's kind of like the idea. I mean, have you ever heard of the idea of friendsgiving, where like friends come together and generally there's like it's kind of like a potluck situation.
Did I
Everybody
not
brings their
mention
own
Ted
food.
Mosby earlier? I think I know
Yeah.
what Friendsgiving is.
All right, so you understand the concept of friendsgiving. So, that's taking the holiday, the tradition of the holiday, and making it their own. Just friends gathering, bringing whatever type of food. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Thanksgiving style food or anything like that. I mean, I've taken fast food to a friendsgiving before because I just ran out of time to cook, and it was a hit, just a bunch of chicken nuggets. And
That sounds like a pretty dank Thanksgiving for me.
right. I've also been to a Friendsgiving where we did nothing but Mexican food. So,
Roll
I
Chick
definitely
fil
want to
A.
embrace that. Yeah, well,
Did
Chick
you
fil A
bring
is
the
usually closed on
Polynesian
Thanksgiving.
sauce?
No, because Chick fil A is usually closed on Thanksgiving.
They're closed on Thanksgiving?
It's religious
Those
organization. And
passive
they close
aggressive.
on most major holidays.
That is such passive aggressiveness.
Um, so I think I went through McDonald's and got chicken nuggets from there. But still.
At least
Um
McDonald's doesn't care about like family values. I like that. That's why they serve breakfast all day.
McDonald's doesn't care about anything except your money. Um, I don't know if that's true. McDonald's, it's
It
probably true.
probably is true. And if they're listening, I don't care for your sponsorship.
Quiznos, if you're listening, maybe you should sponsor
You
Thanksgiving.
bet your ass I would love a Quiznos sub on Freak. That's the only place I actually enjoyed getting a toy. Subway doesn't give you a toy.
Uh, No, they don't.
They give you a half mushy cookie, like half of it's mushy, then the other half is really hard. We're like, what happened to the cookie? Or did you just freeze half of it? Because this side is hard as a rock, and the other side is like paste you give to elderly people. I'm not trying to choke and die on Thanksgiving, which I have seen people choke on Thanksgiving. They've cut, like, I've had people had steak before, and then you don't cut it all the way, and the next people, if you're listening, happy Thanksgiving, and also cut your food. Just cut it. Like it's. I
Yeah.
know you're hungry, and I know.
Don't don't be in a hurry either. Just enjoy the food. It's going to be there. Don't worry.
Pass the mashed potatoes, pass the peas,
You
keep the fucking mayo away from me.
you don't need to have a mountain on your plate, okay? It's like going to the buffet. Just because all the food is there at your disposal doesn't mean you need to get all the food onto your plate. You can make several chips.
I don't agree with that logic. When you go to a buffet, you load up your plate, people. You load it up. You get the best of your money. I have eaten, I think, a total of 135 California rolls is like my max. Because if you eat it fast, you don't realize how much or how sick you can really get after eating 135 California rolls. 10 minutes after the meal, thought I was going to die.
My stomach just got a little queasy thinking about eating 135.
The guy looking at me was like, he would always put out trays of 8. I would just sit there and grab the trays and put it on my plate. And he'd just keep looking at me like, dude, move on. And I'm like, nope. Everybody else here is going, like, life shouldn't be that easy, I would say. You know, that sounds wrong. But the fact of when you're at a buffet, you can go and get fucking hot wings, then you can get a taco, then you can get like Chinese food, then you can get freaking pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants that to be the idea of life, of I can do this and get whatever I want. Not all the time. Not all the time. It should be like there should be that guy that tells you like that's enough crab legs and then pulls the thing back from you. Or I'm like, thank you. You're giving me moderation. You're like a gatekeeper, much like a ferryman. I have to go through you to be able to get what I want.
Way to bring that back around.
It's what I tend to do. Do you even know how to cook a turkey?
Yes.
I'm asking because I need help cooking a turkey. I just got
Well,
chicken down, and even that's kind of shaky.
well, a turkey, it's not as intimidating as everybody likes it to believe it is. I mean, it just really all depends on one, the size of it, and two, what you want to do with it. Um, so I like to do I forget the technical term, it's like splatter groin or some BS like that. So what I do is I actually take the turkey and I remove the breastbone from it, and it allows me to splay it out on the pan instead of it still being one huge round turkey. It reduces the cook time drastically, and it also cooks a little bit more evenly. And then I'm a citrus guy when it comes to turkey, so I like to use a lot of freshly squeezed oranges, lemons, and things like that all over the turkey because the citrus gets down in there and gives the meat a good flavor. Also, butter to really help crisp up the skin and stuff like that. But it just really depends on who you are and what your tastes are.
Oh God, my anxiety just went through the roof of you explaining that. I'm just sticking to a can of tuna. That's so simple. Oh
But I
my!
mean,
I don't
again,
have to shove that in the sink and let that frost, defrost, thaw, whatever the hell. That's such climate propaganda bullshit. Of you have to thaw your meat before you cook it. I take my chicken right out of the freezer and toss it in the pan and throw it right in the oven. And I just gotta cook it on higher for longer, and I'll be happy with the product.
I mean, to each their own. You typically want it to be thawed because, again, it's going to drastically reduce your cook time, but then it's also going to reduce the chances that you're going to burn it, make it too tough, or anything like that too. So,
All tricks of the trade, my friend. You just got to deal with it. It's like when I go to like Chipotle or Subway or something, I'll tell people, you make it how you want to. And then they will make me a sandwich and you have to sit and live with your decision. A lot of people aren't okay with that, but I am because I'm confined to my choices in life.
well, if you do choose to ever make a turkey, I just suggest keeping it simple. Don't do everything that I do. Just get the turkey out, put it in its roasting pan. Make sure you put liquid down at the bottom. Liquid will form as it's cooking, but just put a little bit of liquid down on the bottom for starters. Season it the way you want. Salt, pepper, whatever you want, if you even want to do that. Still always put a little bit of butter all over the skin. It's really going to help crisp it up. cover it, throw it into the oven, cook it for whatever the recommended time is for its size. And throughout the cooking process, you'll want to get it out of the oven and remove the cover, and you're going to baste it. You know what that is? Okay. So baste to baste it is you're going to take liquid from the bottom of the pan and you're going to pour it all over the turkey itself.
Isn't that the excess juices?
Yes, but it's reintroducing liquid back to the meat so it doesn't dry out during the cooking process.
I've spent the past probably 2 weeks listening to nothing but Neil deGrasse Tyson and a bunch of like astrophysicists on podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
That shit I can understand, and you're tossing out all this, and I'm like, this is like some Tom Cruise magic, like witchcraft, like stuff. Where I'm like, I'm not down with this.
Well, again, like that original way that I talked about cooking a turkey before, that's just years of me playing around with stuff and learning as I went. And every year I do something different and I add something different. So like the whole removing of the bone and splaying it out, that's only something I've been doing the last couple of years. Otherwise, I've always cooked it just like you would cook a normal turkey.
What's your best Thanksgiving memory?
My best Thanksgiving memory would have to be from 2007. Not 2007. Yeah, 2007.
It's a
I had
fucking
just
long
joined.
time ago there, bud.
I know. Uh, that was the year I joined the Navy. So I joined in February of 2007. I had already been sent down to Virginia Beach for more schooling. I did Thanksgiving. Your eye hurts? Let me see. What'd you do to your eye? I've already been down in Virginia Beach, and my friend Brandy, none of us were going home for Thanksgiving, so she invited us over to her house, and we ate dinner so late because we got a late start getting dinner cooking and stuff like that. But we all just sat around, we were drinking, we finally got to sit there and eat, and it was laughing, and it was my first Thanksgiving away from home, my first Thanksgiving without family and stuff like that, and I really thought I was going to hate it. And it was probably one of the most enjoyable experiences because there was no drama, there was no bullshit. It was just a bunch of people away from home for the first time mainly, and we created our own little family for one night, and it was a lot of fun.
It's a good memory.
Yeah. How about you?
My grandma punched me in the face. So a little story behind that one.
a little more context, please.
We were doing this is probably when I was like 13 years old. I had mouthed off. I said women should be in the kitchen, and she punched me. No, I'm just kidding. No, we were doing the wishbone, where you pull the wishbone, and
Okay.
I forgot what she did. I guess she was going to yank it forward and then yank it back and do like to help it break faster and see where it would go. And she did that right when I was like extremely like decided to tug it, and her fist went with the thing and went right into my eye. And it was this whole scenario where I got ice cream afterwards, which was pretty awesome. I just couldn't tell my parents. So maybe it was a real legit punch, like her way of like, you motherfucker, you're gonna complain about mowing the lawn again.
Yeah,
But
right.
it was just a scenario where we laughed, and it was one of those moments. Like imagine that ideology of putting so much faith into something where like you break a wishbone or you break one of those bones and you get to make a wish.
Yeah, that's one of those superstitious traditions I've never understood, nor have I ever really gotten into. I don't think I've ever broken a wishbone in my entire life.
When I was a kid, I thought it was a thing.
Yeah, my family used to do it, but I just never got into it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's these things that you believe 100% into. And I'm not saying belief isn't bad, but being confined to one way of thinking.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if someone would have told me that, I would have lost my wish. I wish people would have. There you go. Look, we're all talking about wishing. Let's build a wishing well and see what we can retrieve out of it. Here's a funny scenario. So on Thanksgiving, and this actually involves a wishing well. Probably like 3 years ago, I was at a mall with one of my close friends who I usually have Thanksgiving with. His family invites me over. We have like a small little gathering and stuff. But
Mhm.
we went to the mall and there's a wishing fountain, and I had a coin, and I was like, I wish I wasn't gay, as a joke. And as I did that, and it's on video, I flicked the coin into the pond, and a random stranger just walked by and went, hope it works. And he just went off. And I was like, that moment was something where it was like, nobody was like upset. Nobody was outraged. It was just good fun. It was a good
Yeah.
joke. It's one of those things we remember. I mean, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, all these things, we go for the traditional Chinese food and stuff. It's this thing that we like to do of we like to change it up and make things interesting because those are going to create the most memories. You don't want to say that, oh, it was the 2007 or it was the 2009 or it wasn't this, because that means all those periods and years before that, there was nothing that was super spectacular or memorable. You should try and make every single one like that.
Well, I can agree with that to a point. It's nice not to single out like one year over another year, but then again, it's what's special to each individual person and stuff like that. Like if we're going to talk about a Thanksgiving tradition or a Thanksgiving or a holiday tradition or any type or anything like that, then sure, I can sit there and I can name off all sorts of stuff that gives me good memories about stupid light, sorry, um about what makes these holidays and stuff great for me. So like for Thanksgiving, I think the thing that I really loved about it, especially growing up, is that it was one of the few times a year that my cousins would come over to the house. And we used to live in Texas, and they had this huge hill behind our house with a bunch of woods and stuff like that. We would just go traipsing around in it for hours, and that's what we would do, while all the adults sat around cooking and drinking. We were in the woods, getting dirty, falling out of trees, pushing each other, chasing each other, and stuff like that. And
Damn
then
it, Chuck, in your new jeans too. I just bought you those for school.
if you ever saw me wearing jeans, something was wrong.
What you wear?
I wore
Cargo shorts?
shorts. I wore shorts as a kid, even like in winter, because winter really wasn't a big thing in
Are
Texas.
you one of those guys where it was like it's wintertime, it's snowing out, and you're wearing shorts and you're like, my legs aren't cold? And it's like I can see your legs are blue, like they're getting frostbite. And he's like, oh, they're perfectly warm. I'm like, I think you're lying.
Typically my legs are the last to get cold. The rest of my body gets cold, so I don't wear shorts out in the snow or when it gets cold or anything like that. But I'm not usually that overly concerned about them. That actually reminds me of when the first time I saw snow, also back in 2007, when I went up to boot camp in Chicago. I landed, so I left Florida to go to Chicago, and February in Florida, it's already hot. So I was wearing flip flops, shorts, and a t shirt. Not one person told me that I should dress for the weather up there. No, they all just let me get on this plane and go to boot camp. I get there as the plane is descending. I was like, oh man, it's snowing. I've never seen snow in my entire life. This is awesome. And of course, I used to be a big smoker then, so all I wanted to do was run outside and enjoy the snow, and smoke a cigarette. I went running out there. I kid you not, every bit of me turned frigid, and like I came like back in, and I couldn't stop shivering for like an hour just for the few seconds that I was outside.
It's so mind-boggling to me that 2007 was the day you discovered snow.
Yeah, at 20 years old, I finally experienced snow. I had seen like sleet and
I
like
have
mild
seen
snow.
movies with snow,
Yes,
but
I've seen the pictures, and I've heard grandfather tell stories of having to go 10 miles in the snow without shoes.
look, I've seen plenty of movies with Hawaii, and I didn't have that feeling when I went down there. I was like, it's fucking okay.
See, I had the exact opposite experience. My Hawaii experience was exactly like what I felt like I saw in the movies. But I guess
Did you
we also
did you think Sarah Marshall was going to come out and you were going to be like, oh, she's here?
I would have much preferred Mila Kunis over Sarah Marshall, but or whatever her character's name was, Rachel. That was her character's name.
I would
I
have
would have preferred
preferred
Rachel over Sarah Marshall
I
any
would
day.
have preferred Mr. Russell Brand or Crow, whatever his name is.
Oh, Russell Brand, hell yeah, Aldous Snow, one of the greatest characters ever created for comedy.
Bedtime stories.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that bedtime stories. Um, but anyway, yeah. So long story short, I don't know how we got to this, but yeah. So traipsing around the woods on Thanksgiving Day, and then going in, getting cleaned up real quick, and then just having a good meal. So yeah, I mean, those are good Thanksgiving memories for me. But there's always that one from 2007 that stands out as one of my favorite.
At any moment, trancing around through the woods, were you afraid of being kidnapped?
No, not one moment. That's I lived out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, you got to understand where we lived in Texas. So I lived in this very, very small town called Center Point, and then outside of that, I lived on a game preserve. So you're near it, we were spread out. Your nearest neighbor was down the road and stuff like that. So have you ever? We talked about this during my first time on the show, where uh, the movie The Strangers freaks me out because I really felt like that could have happened to me as a kid.
I could have been abducted at many moments in my life.
Uh, but no, I mean, where I lived, you didn't worry about being abducted. What you worried about is that you were going to do something stupid in the woods, because we used to go out there by ourselves too. And A, you wouldn't be able to crawl your way back. B, wouldn't be able to find your way back. And C, no one would be able to find you.
That's why I have a rule of never fighting in the woods, because I've seen too many movies where like kids are fighting and then one kid falls and the next thing you know the kid's dead because like broke his neck or he landed on something sharp and it killed him. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I'm never gonna ever fight anybody in the woods.
Yeah. No, I mean that and rattlesnakes were my biggest fear. Growing up there in Texas, because being out in the middle of nowhere and no one being able to find you, and then at any moment a snake was going to bite you because rattlesnakes are overly prevalent there. So
I mean, sharks are overly prevalent here, but take them as it comes. If I'm gonna die by a shark, it better be printed in the headline. It's pretty damn respectful. That's why I say when
local
people
podcaster killed by shark.
well, hopefully they'd be like, yo, this dude took on a full, like, I want some, like, it's like the same. This is my idea of the people when you die. It doesn't need to be about all the moments that you had in your life that led you up to this point that you're going to be remembered for. You just need to pay somebody to give you a really nice final resting peace speech. Because that dude, like, I've been to funerals where I'm like, that's what I remembered was the speech that the person gave off. I want like a nice, either used car salesman that's really tricky and able to make you buy a Pontiac when you want something completely different. Or I want like a smooth talker like Steve Earl Jones, because of the aspect of like, that's what you're going to be remembered for. So I want them to be like, here lies this man, and this man was a god amongst men, a man amongst many, and amongst this many, and like just go into this full on thing where people are like, that was a good funeral. Like I've been to some pretty shitty funerals before where afterwards we just got ice cream. Why is that the guaranteed thing? When something bad happens, you have to get ice cream. It's why I can't stand a Baskin Robbins. It's sad memories.
It's comfort food.
Pizza's comfort food, but nobody ever took me to a damn Domino's. I bet I would have a different thought of it if somebody, maybe that's what happened, is somewhere along the way you ever have a suppressed memory. Maybe someone took me to like a Little Caesars or a Papa John's.
Well, when I was younger, aside from the fact of growing up poor, when I was younger, we would never go out to like a fast food restaurant or anything like that unless, it was a reward or, something happened. So I never went to McDonald's or anything like that unless like I went to the doctor. And if I could make it through the doctor without screaming or punching or biting anybody, then great, because I was a horrible kid. But
I mean,
so
you were a horrible kid, not for that. You were a horrible kid because you wore shorts.
oh, of course.
I guarantee you had the camo ones too, didn't you?
No.
Did you have the ones that with the zipper on the knee where you could unzip them from jeans into shorts? Oh my God.
I was already a teenager when those were a fad, so no.
Whoever had those, I had those too, but I didn't.
I had one pair.
After one time, I ripped the zipper on the kneecap, and then I fell on it, and then that really freaking hurt. It's like landing on your car keys. You're like, my femur.
I was never a kid who was like with the times on fashion. I just wore whatever the hell I wanted to. Whether I was on time with fashion or behind, I just wore what I wanted to.
Respect to the game. Respect to the game. Did you also wear Crocs?
I have never worn a pair of Crocs in my entire life. My kids have plenty, but I don't.
Your childhood wasn't that messed up. As a parent, I suggest you throw the Crocs out.
No, I like the Crocs. They're easy to put on when the kids need to go outside.
The holes are an open way to the toe, and you gotta have the toe closed. Well, I'm thankful that you came and you gave me your time today, Chuck. Because seriously, it's been amazing to watch your show grow. It's been amazing to be on the show. Looking forward to what it's going to be like next year. Um, and I look forward to seeing your progression in the
Thank
new year.
you. Thank you for having me on here again. I've been looking forward to this moment that I get to come back onto the show. Thankful for everything that you've done for me, the friendship we forged, the guidance you've given me with the show and things like that, and then all the amazing episodes that we've done together. Uh, you can even see the progression in that one from our very first episode. What was our very first one? The Big Lebowski, right?
Yeah, well, oh yeah, for yours. I thought you meant
Yeah.
mine. I was like, you
No,
finally
no, no, no,
figured
no.
out to turn
For
a light on your face so people can see you.
well, and my light's being a jackass right
And I
now.
wasn't in front of Isis's basement either. I'm now in my little studio.
Yeah. But you can hear the progression of just yours and mine episodes from the Big Lebowski all the way through Signs. But thank you so much for being there, uh, being a guide, being a friend, and I am thankful for that always.
Now take your leftovers and get out of my house. Happy
That's my
Thanksgiving,
plan.
everyone.